Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Monday morning, 3rd of February, new week, new month, and more volatility. All right, the market continues to bring lots of volatility with lots of moves not being priced in, which is why we're getting the increased in volatility. So as always, we're going to start off today with doing a top-down analysis. We're going to start off on the daily charts. Let's hop over into that. Here's your daily chart on the Q. So as you will notice, huge gap down. So last week we were looking really good for this drive up into this gap. We filled the gap, fulfilled its obligation, and then POTUS came out and said, hey, we're going to start tariffing. We're going to start tariffing now. So risk off, right? Remember, the market is forward looking. When we have events which we haven't priced in, we get big reactions. So that was Friday. We knew that there were some tariffs coming. We didn't know when. We didn't know how much. We didn't know if he was sort of calling bluff. So those came in, and then over the weekend, he signed the bills and legislation for it. So we open 500-point gap down. Friday close, Sunday open down here. All right, big old gap down. Flush down into where? Same demand pool. All right, this same demand pool. So far, holding bids from there. So if we look left, what can we think about here? We can think about these old areas here as old support, all right? Resistance in here becomes support, 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 support. They need to hold these areas. If they start failing to hold these areas, the risk of this move starts to increase, all right? So buyers, long-term buyers in the market who are looking for a trade up this year will want these areas to hold. If they start failing, we go risk off and probably down to next level, right? I'm not saying today, I'm saying over a number of days and weeks that can happen. So that's where we're at. So we have a big old gap above us right now for all that gap down. So of course there is gap fill potential up here into the 5-day and 20-day. Again, we are coiling between lower bowl, top bowl, lower bowl, towards top bowl, towards lower bowl. You don't normally see that happen in a 24-hour period, right? Normal market, that will take weeks to happen, or at least days, like here, days up, days back to midpoint, days up, numerous days, not one day. All right, so there's your volatility increase. Again, we haven't priced this in. That's the big problem right now. Moving into a higher time frame, let's look at the hourly. All right, so you can see this big old gap down through the hourly, straight through any support structure. So here's your support structures. All right, we created resistance, resistance, breakout, retest, hold, breakout, retest, hold, breakout, failure, close the day here inside of support on Friday, and then gap down. So any buyer who was in here is currently underwater. So any back test towards 400, we expect them to become sellers for a rotation down around this area. So if we can get a back test towards there, I will be thinking about a sell. Where can we go? Well, we have to consider what we've got here towards the lows. So these blue boxes, this was your big AI sell-off, deep seek sell-off low. All right, so from here we found bids. From this point here we found bids. Bid up all last week, every day, bid up, bid up, bid up, failure. Back into where? We're back into an area where we know buyers have been hanging out. So I don't want to get short in the hold down here. I'd need a breakdown, retest, and then go. This blue line is some daily pivots that I was convinced we were going to take for the last few weeks, and we haven't taken it. You can see it right here. So a low here, a low here, a low here. They're all very, very close. So if we're going to get really weak down there, I'm watching those levels. Ideally this morning, I think we get a pop and a fail, push and fail. We've created most volume overnight up here around the 200 mark. That is a key level. So ideally, if you're looking for longs, you would want a breakout above the overnight high, the London high, a pullback in and a hold and a drive back up to 380s. I'd be risk off at 380s. If it's going to go for a full gap fill, you'll get all the way back up towards 575s. I will not be playing this long. I'm going to say that now. All right. I will be looking for the shorts today. Even if that means it doesn't set up for me today, I will be looking for the shorts. I don't love the risk exposure long in this market. Might happen. We might get that squeeze all the way for the gap fill. But what I would rather see is a big morning shove, a failure, a pull underneath, and something like this that I can trade backside back into 200. If we get stuck there for a rotation back down to 21K, risk off down into here, and let them see what they want to do. That would be ideal scenario for me personally, all right? Because for me, we are in a big old range, all right? We can see this range. Hard to accept that this is a range, but it is a ginormous range from right up here into the end of December into this low here. Look, we just got a range here. That's all we're doing. It is a flipping massive range. It's a 1,000-point range, but that's what it is. So I'm looking for a back test somewhere up here to come and retest the bottom of the range. Then I'll think about being a buyer if it firms up. I'm not convinced it's going to firm up, but if it firms up at the lows, I will think about being a buyer at the lows. Really, I'm thinking we're just going to fade off today and go a little bit more risk off. Watching the 5-minute chart here above them. All right, and you can see here's the reaction on the gap down. Asia bids sideways. We find relative sort of double bottom down here. Remember, this is just a wick, so that's just a flush run. Holds a double bottom, starts to grind up. London holds above Asia, starts to grind up, and now we're sideways again. So can they hold gains for this move up? If they do this, then I'm going to be waiting for the backside failure. If they start flushing at the morning, you can think about a trade maybe back into VWAP, maybe back into this support system down here towards 21K. I would not want to be getting short into that, all right? You would need a short down into it, not a short down here. That's where you're going to get stuck. That's kind of it, all right? That's sort of what I'm looking for today. Volatility is high, all right? Don't kid yourself. We can expect huge candles at any point in today. And also you've got to have hard stops, like I say, because Trump can talk at any point. We do have news, 9:45 and 10 o'clock. There is also news. We're also into earnings week, all right? We have lots of earnings, lots of the Mag 7 reporting later in the week. Got to be aware of that as well. VIX, all right, VIX is gapping up towards 1960s right now. It closed last week down at 1630, so it's a big old gap up, telling you that there is some fear in the market. Another thing I'm watching is the ETFs, okay? SPY has a gap fill on its daily from 590 down to 584.80 that it never filled. That's going way back now. Let's have a quick look. That gap was from the 14th to 15th of Jan, all right? So SPY does have a gap down there. If it wants to be efficient, it could gap all the way down there. We will have to see. QQQ also has a gap, much smaller, down at 511, down to 509. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out, all right? So any of you who are joining, haven't been reading the news or seeing anything, this is all from the tariffs, all right? This is fear in the market from the tariffs. Trump started speaking on Friday at lunch about the tariffs he's going to place. 25% on Canada and Mexico, 10% on China. There are some exemptions from this, some lower percentages for energies. So we have to think how this is going to affect everything, okay? Because it will also not just affect the consumer here, because you've got to think that the price goes up here, because if it's more expensive for them to produce something, then they will put the prices up. To think that it's just importation of Canada or Mexican or China goods which are sold here would be incorrect. We are including metals, minerals, pharmaceuticals, anything like that which is still assembled in America will be affected. And this is why the markets risk off, because it's very hard to think about how that's going to affect the market. What percentage is that going to pull out of the market? How much risk do we need to take out of the market for that? And how long is it going to last? Because he said that these are temporary. So lots of adjustments that the market will start making, or hedge funds will start making. Let's put it that way. Getting through the chat now. Good morning, DJ Noah, Chris, Gary, Marek, Jeff, Ramus, Peter, Exister, Mr. Slim, Crawford, Thumper, TR, Array, BU, Miguel, Jack, Leron, and Aid. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. So to be clear, I am looking for shorts today, all right? That's what I'm personally looking for. That doesn't mean I don't think it can trade higher. Absolutely think there is a possibility for this to trade higher, all right? This red level up here and the gap fill, very possible that if it can get above, all right, if it can break above London and hold gains, possible squeeze into here, runners into here. That's without a doubt possible. I'd much rather be thinking about the shorts. What I don't want it to do is just snap right down at the open of the day. That would make it harder for me, because I will need to respect this area down here where I know buyers have shown up overnight, and they also showed up last Monday. If we go all the way back, right, they were also showing up last Monday. So I have to be aware of all these guys in the market, where they're playing, where their positioning is. I will be watching the tape today to see if there's any clues, any big orders. I'll be looking for huge orders on the tape today. 500 lots again. Kind of thing we saw last Monday to see where they're positioning. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. Having a quick look on the book now. All right, biggest order I can see, 21,900. All right, there's a 250 lot up there. All right, so he's hoping we get a gap fill and just go absolutely turbo, and that was a complete overreaction, which is possible. All right, I will consider the long if it has to really prove to me for me to consider this long. I'm not going to front side this short. Right, for me, we're in a pullback leg right now. Think about this. For me, we are in a sell and a pullback leg. There's the sell. This is the pullback leg. So I'm looking for a reason or an area where I can get short for a continuation, or at least a retest off this low. All right, that's what I'm thinking about, a retest of the low. If they set the squeeze, so be it. That's fine. I can join in with that. But lots of volatility. Here's the market open now. Let's move you to a 1 minute. You can see nice clear uptrend there for the Asia-London session to start. Back into an anchored view up here, right? This is an anchored view up off here that I have on my NinjaTrader off the low, the double bottom that I put in overnight. I'm just watching how it reacts here. We can put that in quickly down here. Help you guys out. All right off here, I think it is. There you go. So there's the anchored view up off the overnight low. All right, and soaking off that. I think I have an anchored view up off the highs, and it's way up here somewhere. Hopefully it's in there. Otherwise, I'm going to have to put it in this one right up here. So 433 off the Friday breakdown is the anchored view up off the highs of Friday's breakdown. All right, but for now, just in a sort of range. Going to let this wiggle out. Remember, we've got news 9:45 and 10 o'clock. Let's talk about the mag. All the mag gapping down. All right, all of the mag gapping down. Apple 2% down, Microsoft 1% down, Amazon 1% down, Google 1.4% down, Meta 0.75% down, Nvidia 4.8% down, and Tesla 4% down. All right, why Nvidia and Tesla are the ones down? They were already weak. All right, so if you've got a weak market, you want to short the ones with relative weakness. Those are the ones to aim for, and those are the ones starting to bleed. Morning, Coop. Morning, Glenn. So, like I said in chat yesterday, we're going to be smart. We're going to let this do what it wants, and then we can join once it proves. What I'm not going to do is get trapped in the liquidity building phase of this market, whether it squeezes or wants to fade. I really don't care. It can do whatever it wants, and I'll join once it's clear. Once I know one side is trapped. VIX starting to fade back into its gap. The market trying to trade above the London high, right? The market will want to trade above 2271. If it can base above there, there is a chance for a squeeze out, all right? And that will be back into the gap all the way into 400s will be the first stop. Remember, Mag 7, much Mag 7 has earnings this week. We can also think about where that 20 days for a mean reversion, that would be bang into the gap. 77-point range in this opening 3 minutes. You can also be trading your opening range breaks, of course, if you're looking to trade those. Morning, Idris. Just looking at the liquidity, looking where people are. Buyers down at 950 right now. Not much on the tape here at all. Seller up at 350, only a 40 lot. Really not much on the tape. I'm really not interested in this movement right now. I want to see it just blow out, go higher first, and then give me an opportunity for a fade back down. That would be ideal. I'm certainly not going to trade inside the top end of this range that is created in London. We have been up here since 3 a.m. in the morning. All right, so it's been up here dancing sideways for 6 hours. All right. This here, 6 hours. Not interested in this. Needs to break out, hold, or break out, fail. Ideally, break out, send it higher with a squeeze, and then fade. Fade that squeeze when it's finished. Chips getting absolutely smacked. So why are chips getting smacked? Because they use minerals and metals and they come from China. All right. So just additional pressure on all these names who are already weak going into this weekend. So gold looks like it will continue to be the hedge for the market. Fairly lackluster open here. They start letting go of these levels, need to be cautious. This right here is like your overnight zone. If it starts letting go of this and getting heavy, it can rotate much, much deeper. I'd much rather it trades up first. I will say that. I would be much, much rather this would trade up first. Let me just mark this Asia high out, this kind of thing here. This is a bit like last Monday. If you can remember last Monday, I was waiting for the squeeze higher into a level of supply, waiting for that shift to take that short back down, which we took on stream last Monday. And then the rest of the week, we continued to bid upside. This week might be different. This news is not some Chinese chip maker news. This is a lot more serious. Where I don't want to be today is trading once we get these Fed speakers. I think it's Barkin speaking from like 11:30. I am not interested at all in being in the market when these Fed talkers are on, because they, again, much like Powell last week, and it will be the continuation of the same rhetoric until we know what's going on. It will be, how do you see tariffs affecting inflation? How do you see that adding stickiness? How do you see it affecting, American domestic GDP? Blah, 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 blah. That will let the news algos go absolutely wild, and technicals can go out the window when that happens. So I am not interested in trading when that happens. Right? I really want to trade a nice, clean setup. If that means I have to be very, very patient this week, that is absolutely fine with me. We're off to a flyer in January, a really good start. We're in unknown territory right now. I cannot remember a day where, last Monday we gapped down basically 1,000 points. This week we did like 500-600 points off news constantly over the weekend. So I don't remember a market where that happened regularly. And it's starting to feel like a regular occurrence. So he said, once Trump's in, you've got to expect the unexpected. Lots of push-pull early this morning. Looking at like 30-point M1 candles here. Push-pull, push-pull, push-pull. Still holding flow zones for now. We have not quite cleared out the London high. All right, if it keeps getting stuck up here, it is at risk of that head and shoulder kind of look on a 5-minute. But really, I want to see this trade higher first. All right, a much better trade will be if this trades higher first. It give way, way better RR, and I'll know that breakout buyers have come into the market at that point. Put in this London high so we can see it right here. All right, so I want us to trade through this. I'm not looking to short this level. I'm looking for us to trade through this level, because breakout buyers will come into the market once we get through this level down here. All right, we get breakout buyers in the market once we trade through this. And then I'm looking for those breakout buyers to get stuck at some point, ideally. If we get above this and just start to base, then I'll think about maybe further upside. There we go. So it's trading through that now. All right, so if you took that long, congratulations. Be very, very cautious if I was you today. Make sure you're paying yourself some money. All right, so breakout buyers now in the market above London. Potential squeeze here up to, what do I have? Three sort of up here, 370s and then 400s. Remember, failed breakout here will be where the breakout buyers get trapped and we go for a rotation lower. Meta incredible. Gone green on the day. Wow. Very, very impressive from Meta. So here's your squeeze, continuation higher, flow zones hanging on, well into that gap now above everything that we've done overnight. So I'm expecting a trade into the old wicks now from sort of the 29th and the 30th of Jan. Can we trade up into those lower end of the wicks? All right, that's what I'm expecting. And then I'm thinking about the fade. Like I said, I expect this long this morning to go higher, and then I'm expecting a fade. So supply up here, whole number 300 key, failed breakout also key. ES now trying to break out of the same level. All right, failed here to take liquidity fully yet on the ES, hasn't taken out London high. So you have divergence in the market. If they do not hold this level that we just broke out from, all right, they will need to hold this for bulls to have a squeeze potential. If they start failing here already, bulls will be in trouble. So I was saying be very proactive today if you're thinking bullish. I'm looking for bearish moves in the market today. What am I trading on? What do you mean? What software? I'm trading the NQ on Ninja right now. You are watching the NQ on TradingView. Watching liquidity on the book here. Seller up at 450. Remember, gap fill will be all the way up to 570s. As crazy as that is, that would be a full gap fill, will be way, way, way up there. And this is starting to look like it's potentially going to break down here. The fact that ES, did ES sweep there or not? It did just about sweep London and then got stuck. In this, very, very careful if they're going to get very, very weak here into these levels. You have to be cautious if you are a buyer here. Like I said, squeeze through this is likely. If they get stuck here, rotation possible. The higher the better, in my opinion. The more bulls we can get encouraged to get into here, the better. Not even a first 15-minute candle yet. Lots of time left here while we build out this opening drive range. Opening range breaks will have potential or failed range breaks. Hopefully some of you took that long. I was very clear I wasn't going to take it long, but I expected it. So ES sort of wicked that triple flat top by what, like a tick, and that's it. Finding sellers up there straight away. Remember, we have news as well. I must remember this. 9:45 and 10 o'clock news today. Remind myself what the numbers are. So far, doesn't look good up there, does it? Does not look good up there so far. One more squeeze higher would be ideal. Let's have a look. Monday. So manufacturing PMI 945, and then ISM 10 o'clock, and then Bostic speaks at lunch. Do not want to be in the market when he's speaking. This is a huge week of news. Then tomorrow we have job openings at 10 o'clock and more speakers from 11 o'clock. Again, don't want to be in the market when they're talking. Wednesday. Normally wouldn't care about this, but I am going to care this week. Wednesday morning, 8:30 a.m., US trade deficit. Right, it's the whole reason that we're doing these tariffs. Then 9:45 PMI, and then 10 o'clock ISM, and then again Fed talkers all afternoon. Thursday, initial jobless claims, And then Fed talkers again. Fuck me, they do like to talk, don't they? And then Friday, employment reports, wholesale inventories, consumer sentiment. All right, massive week of news. So 30 seconds until this news print comes, and then more news at 10 o'clock. Ten seconds. Book's starting to thin out here and clear. Only big orders on the book right now are down under 175 for buyers and 450 for sellers, and then 900. Other than that, not much going on right now. Find that print. Nothing yet. So again, looking heavy here after a failed breakout. We'd like to see a little bit more structure build out than what we have right now. But if they're going to go risk off, it can happen very, very quick. Like this. So starting to trade inside the current New York range. How we act at this anchored VWAP will be important. I think there's fade potential in this market, like I said. I would have loved a little bit further of a squeeze out, but it's looking good. 175, 150s on the tape. That would be down towards VWAP, basically. So do they start to sell pops now? This is the question. After we've taken this liquidity here, are we going to get into a selling the pops phase into here? How do we act down here? Is this the moment where they let the market go, or did they reabsorb into VWAP? Really just sort of trading sideways with a failed breakout right now. It's not like something I'm super energized about yet. Coming back towards that anchor and uptrend. If they start letting go of this, it can get a bit more nasty. This is the anchor VWAP off the overnight lows. This blue line here. We can see if they start to fade pops now. Beautiful. So into that anchored VWAP, into that uptrend. Anchor VWAP, uptrend, sort of white line all around here. Area of congestion. Remember, this is where buyers came in this morning. If these buyers get stuck, this is where we let go with more aggression. It's a big if right now. We're still just in this range that we've been in for 6 hours. Okay, 6 hours we've been here since overnight. Did ES hit VWAP there? Not quite. SPY trading through VWAP. QQQ right on its VWAP. So now I'm thinking, do they start selling pops? That will be the indication. If they start selling pops and we start breaking down, I'm going to feel a little bit better about these trades coming up. Like this. Do we create a new low here and start breaking down? This is looking very good now. You would need to let go of this trend and this anchor. See how this anchor is becoming increasingly important here. We'll need it to get stuck and build out something here and a breakdown, and then I feel even better under here. Once we get under here, zooming out, there is a chance for a fade all the way back down into this. This is what I'm looking for, starting to play out a little bit now. Needs to break down. We're under point of control now from overnight. Point of control currently trading at 215-ish. It needs to let go of that POC. You need buyers above that point of control stuck. If they don't get stuck, then maybe we can have a new squeeze all the way up here. All right, so that's the risk parameter right now. Like I said, I need this to be clear and obvious. Watching to see if they build out a bear flag for a failure or if they're going to hold. Is this New York open? I should probably mark it. If it is, yeah, right here, key level. So ES coming back towards its VWAP. SPY, the cash currently underwater beneath VWAP. QQQ underwater beneath VWAP. VIX trying to spike here, find a bid, trading back through 19, trying to print back towards 1950s will be key for the VIX. Markets remains heavy other than Meta. Meta with relative strength. Tesla 5.4% down. Nvidia 5.1% down. Google 1.2% down. Amazon, again, relative strength, only 0.3% down. Very, very strong from Amazon. It remains strong as it has for weeks and weeks now. Microsoft, almost 1% down, and Apple 2.5% down. I'm expecting continuation lower here now. I'm looking for this breakdown on this bear flag. It has to let go of this. Looking better here now. This is the move that we were looking for this morning. Failed breakout. It needs to let go of trend and anchors. If it fails to do that, squeeze potential to upside is there. You must be taking profits in these markets. And once it proves itself, it will allow you to hold a runner for a long time. Gary, why would they be buying this? Hedge funds might buy this if they feel like this is an overreaction, much like last week. But I agree with you. I agree with you. For me, it's a risk on. It's not a risk on environment right now, so I feel less comfortable buying. But you know, if they feel like it's an overreaction and you know we are too cheap, and potential for buying, but more likely any buying would be shorts tripping over themselves. You know, that's a more probable scenario. We are just in a giant range. That's what we're actually in. So looking to see if this bear flag continues to build out here. Or have they caught enough shorts early in this game while it holds this anchored VWAP? Needs to stay heavy really versus 250s, 260s. This is looking better. So starting to join this now, looking for a flush. First trade of the day here with that last push and fail. Like I said, I will need to see push and fails, covering some here already. Like I said, I'm going to be proactive today until it proves otherwise. I think if we can break this trend, which we're on right now, this 200 level is kind of key here, watching liquidity on the book, lots of liquidity underneath. So I want to see us snap 200, trade lower, come and clean out some of these lows into this blue box. All right, I'm looking for a first trade into and around here, and then maybe hold runners for continuation lower if it will offer it to me and be kind. Coming into this trend line here, that white line, this is looking much better now. Beautiful. All right, taking a little bit more here. Looking for a sweep at least through 75s. Fantastic. Paying myself as we start to move down here. I want to see a really big old lunge lower would be ideal. First trade of the day. Once we pushed and failed there for that bear flag, this push here and failure, and then joining in this move downside, right, and taking some partials into here. And then if we start to get heavy, like we talked about earlier in the day, a deeper rotation is without a doubt possible in this market. Fantastic. Here we go. A little bit more into that, just in front of VWAP in case they front run it. I want to see them stay heavy versus that trend line, really, at least versus 200. Don't want a reclaim of 200 here. Okay, I want this to just keep trading lower. We can trade much, much lower here. We can come and clean up all these H1 wicks into 150s and then drift way, way, way down to where the overnight session was at the lows. Like I said, letting price show me what it wants to do, not guessing, just letting it show me what it wants to do, where it wants to go. Market getting very, very heavy here. Come on. Need a trade back into VWAP. If this has to stay heavy into this area here that we broke down from. All right, this needs to stay heavy. Any reclaim here, I'm risk off, because what I don't want is this squeeze move back upside. Not interested in that. This has to stay heavy versus this block here, versus New York Open, versus 200, versus Trendline, versus Anchored VWAP. All these guys need to be sellers for this rotation. So far looking okay. Just want a continuation trade here. Also got to remember, this is the worst thing about this week. There's so much news. There's news in 5 minutes. We really don't need any more news in this market environment. All right, we've got enough news from tweets and things like that right now. We don't need anything else. Need to see a break of 72s for a trade into VWAP, and then a break of 50s for just a nice deep wash. Again, very careful here on a reclaim. Any big reclaim here, I'll be out on my runners. Like I said, I'm being proactive. I expect this to stay heavy, but if it starts to reclaim any drive through 38, I'm not interested in at all. Watching ES into VWAP here. SPY well beneath the VWAP, but ES trading through VWAP, potential squeeze coming here. So need to be careful. Trading versus 37s now. Want to see them get very, very heavy on this. Otherwise, I will be out. Big buy came in there, but he's still there, just under 75. So really, I want to see it trade into VWAP, which it never did. Watching carefully. If they take me out on the runner here, that's fine. Yes, finding some bids here, taking out on the runners there, so taking that off. Not holding through squeezes, like I said, have to be proactive in this market. If it's not willing to break down, I don't want to be one of the shorts that are stuck. So just locking in money there and waiting now. It might reset up here. If it wants to squeeze higher, again, that's absolutely fine with me. I've got no problem with this thing squeezing higher. If this is a clear out to go lower, I also have no problem with that. Looking good. If it's going to go low here, I will think about reattacking this. It has to prove itself through those anchors. Back to the anchor, back to trend. Do they find bids here for that inverted head and shoulders? Or was that a clear out of all those stops to go lower? Or was it a clear out of this to go lower? Or is it an inverted head and shoulder to set the squeeze? Again, we are in a giant range. We've been here the whole time. Here's your range. Failed breakout. I'm looking for a move down here if it's willing. I will only consider longs if we're basing above. If we're going to trade sideways all day, I'll probably have one more attempt and then just be hands off and not trade at all. I do not want to trade in a sideways market, which is very probable, really, after such a huge sell-off. It's very probable that we go sideways while we digest. Remember, you've got news coming in 1 minute. News in 1 minute. ES back to its VWAP here, getting stuck a little bit there, ES at VWAP. have a look at Meta here. It's incredible hold. So Meta just like a rocket ship out the open this morning. 20 points, just bang, straight up into Friday's range. Incredible. Incredible move from Meta. So I guess being that their company is not so much heavily based on, it's more, or how can I say this? It's hardware. It's not hardware based. Here's the fade. There we go. I did take a little bit there for that move. That happened very, very quick into VWAP and a cover. Let's see what else we set up for the day here now. Just going to let this shake out for a minute because this gets a little bit scary when it starts moving this quick. Let's see. So soaking off VWAP there. There was a big order down there. More added now at 125. So more size been added now at 125. Let's have a look if you can see that actual print. So only in a 150-point range here this morning. Yeah, moved super fast off the news today. That's all. Just the news. Spending, construction came in hotter. Manufacturing PMI 50 versus 50.9 versus 50. I mean, I wouldn't say that's a big hot print there. Employment up though, that is. So tag into VWAP. Trading inside that range, same range still, overnight range still. We're trading inside of London. We have not got outside of London. All right, we have not got outside of London. I still favor short side potential here in the market. It's what I'm leaning towards. So seeing if we can get a continuation trade here if we start fading that VWAP. If we can't fade VWAP, I'll have to reconsider. But I really think potential is to get underneath here, and then there's room. All right, there's room all the way down into these. If they're going to let this go. Remember, this is the break retest level. This is our third time here. I want to see us get stuck here for this move into here. That's what I'm looking for. In fact, let's box that in so we know where we broke out from. So looking for this short here. We'll cover some more into VWAP and then hold for the extension if possible. Much better. Here's VWAP. Can they let go of VWAP? Remember, everything else is already under VWAP. We're looking fantastic here. Let's keep fading now into these 50s. Right, this is what we're looking for first time round. So I had to do that little trap above first. Trap more buys in. Looking good. The lower, the better right here. So trying not to cover too much right now. Here's the trade into 50s. We've got buys on the tape at 125. There's a 200 lot at 125. So I'd like to see us drift into him. Going to have to give myself a little bit of profit here. The lower, the better today. Lower, the better. So like we said, we're looking for that push and fade at the open. That's what I felt most comfortable trading this morning. Hopefully that made sense to everyone. Meta now red. Weakness in the market continues. Is this going to give me a way of adding to move lower? Can we trade back down to those 100s and below? Remember, there's buys at 125 right now on the tape. There's a 200 lot at 125, and then 21K, there's a 100 lot. It gets a little thin between those two. There's a 70 lot at 100. So I'd like to see us trade into 125, snap straight through him just for a little liquidity run would be nice. I'll take some off into that move if we can get it. Watching VWAP here very, very closely. If they start reclaiming this and trading back upside, you want to be cautious. But my feeling was they trade downside. This is obviously the area of contention here into 45. So we can trade back towards London low. Remember, if we start letting go of key levels, we're on Asia high right now. If we let go of Asia high, we can trade to London low. If we let go of that, we can trade to Asia low. Looking good here. So I want a trade through 50s. Need 50s to let go here. Need VWAP to let go here for that trade to 25s. I'm just holding runners here. Right now, in on these breakdowns. Nice. Peter Curry holding runners as well. Good work, mate. Just make sure you're paying yourself. Like I said, we're still in that range until it proves otherwise. We're basically trading towards the bottom side of that range we've been in since, I think it was 3 a.m. this morning. All right, so just zoom out. Remember where you are. We're on a back test level. We have to be aware of this. Technically, this is where sellers were, buyers were, buyers were, buyers were, buyers were, buyers were, buyers were. So we need to pay ourselves into this level. If we stay heavy, then we trade to the next level down. You don't want to get short down into this level. You need to be short way above it and covering down into this level. For that reason, like so, this squeeze up here is just showing you shorts keep adding down here. It's too low, and this market can move fast. So looking to see if they fade this again for the same move. Pops and fails. Need ES to stay heavy versus VWAP. So we get nice breadth across the board for these failures. I will add, if this starts to prove to me it wants to go lower. Nice work, Coop. Did too many shorts get caught down there at VWAP? I still think this wants to trade lower, but if too many keep getting short, we always say it, the same thing over and over again. But I still think this should bear flag to move lower here. This is what we're looking for. Bear flags to move lower. Here's your market. Do. We want this kind of move here. Tapping back into VWAP here again. We're trading currently between VWAP and anchored VWAP. I still think this wants to move lower. I'm taking partials on the way. I'm not being over rigid here. I'm not going to get myself stuck in this market. Yes, nice rejection there. Can it create a new drive lower here? Whole market now red. Meta now gone red on the day. Tesla almost 7% down. Remember, another 3%, and that would be SSR tomorrow. Nvidia 5% down. Meta 0.2% down. Google 1.2% down. Amazon 1.5% now, so rotation now out of these names. Microsoft 1.2% down. Apple 3.5% down. Here is the attempt at the bear flag. Now, shorts will need this to break down. This is where they got stuck last time. They need a breakdown here. Sorry, team, coughing. They need a breakdown here for all that continuation lower as we dance on the VWAPs. If they don't get it, they will get stuck. You cannot be short in demand. Remember, that blue box is demand. We're short above that, covering into here, holding runners, looking for a breakdown. But we are not short in here, all right? The shorts were, if you took the trap here or this play here, all right, you should be short from here. Not short here. This is trouble. You can get short if we come and back test and fail. You cannot get short down here. You will get trapped. So back to the anchor. The same thing over and over and over again so far this morning. If they taper here, be very, very careful. Where is point of control here? Point of control right at that New York Open. Technically, we're still in a range. Remember, we're still in the overnight range. We are still in the initial balance range. Nothing has changed here at all. Literally nothing has changed. We're back to New York Open here. If too many shorts get stuck in the hole, they will trade this higher. It's just how it is. This is all about liquidity, all about who's on the book. The test of trend. I would still like to see this lower. I still think there's much, much lower prices in this market today. It depends if it will give it or not. We can see if they will break this down here. Back towards that VWAP yet again. ES staying heavy here. I still think they're going to really shove this lower. Covering a bit into that. Looking to see if they'll snap now underneath and stay heavy. Into 50s. There you go. His 50s. Covering a bit more just to be proactive. I would like to see 25s and a drift lower. I've been saying it all day, but let's see. Looking really, really good here. ES breaking down hard. Market letting go. VIX trading upside now. 1990 on deck for VIX. Then it can squeeze right up to 20s. Just being proactive at these lows, but I'm still expecting lower prices. But again, it can do a dance first. Watching the tape. Where are these buyers? 25 lot, most of him got filled, sorry, the 125. 70 lot at 21,100. 100 lot at 21,050. And 100 lot down at 21K. So I would love to see us drift down into those because obviously I'm on side right now. I'm adding on pops, looking for flushes, looking for extension of the range. I'm very aware of where we are on this range right now. Do not want to get trapped. Locked in some lovely money this morning. Everything we looked for, fantastic. Can we get an extension? Looking for a move back through here. Down onto 25s would be good, and then 100. It's moving very, very quickly here. Trying to give this room and not move my stop too far because I'll be kicking myself if I get stopped out and then a 300-400 point move comes. What a beautiful trade. Come on, just let it go. Coming back to VWAP again here. Do they stay heavy here? Have to be careful. Have to understand where you are looking at ES. We're coming to back test some key levels. But I would just like to see a continuation of a fade today. It's all I'm looking for. Continuation back down to retest some of these levels. Coming into an old value area here as well on the H1. But we have swept all those H1 levels into 50. All right, so that was probably low-hanging fruit trade. Anything after this is a lovely bonus. Let's put it that way. Still think this has got more lower. I really think this has got more lower in it today. Trying to tell myself, don't get too biased, don't get too biased. But I really do. I think there's a potential to drift lower here. There we go. Can we get into 25s and then 100 and just keep moving down all day? I can show you afterwards, but if I show you the trade, then I can't show you the buy and sell signals because they don't have this chart here I'm trading off is naked. I mean, I've been talking about it enough times for you. I don't see why you need me to show you everything when I gift it to you every bloody day. And there's always one new guy in chat that needs it. But here's the most recent trade for you. There you go. Just so you can get your pissy pants out. There you go. Drive up, fade, add, cover, cover, add, cover, cover, cover. You happy with that now, mate? Thanks very much. And if you want to know, that's on my Traderify account. There you go, live account. So you can, get off chat now if you want. Fucking hell. Give you gifts and you want more. It's hilarious. Just makes me laugh. You want to call me out? I'm here every fucking day giving you absolute gifts in the market, and there's people like that want to call me out. It's actually hilarious to me. Get on someone else's chat who's actually shit. You're probably one of the buyers caught at the top of the day being like that. Like, it's hilarious. Literally gave you gifts. Literally told you we'll probably squeeze up, and I'm looking for fades. I'm looking for fades. I'm looking for fades. If we get stuck here, I'm looking for fades. What else do you want? Do you want me to come and hold your hand? I'm literally giving it to you, mate. Crazy. Oh. Want to see if we reject it. If we start to reclaim, I'm going to be very, very cautious about any more movements. If we start to reclaim here, you have to be super careful. We're still in range, right? We're just dancing on Asia right now. Here is Asia. We are dancing on it. I want to see us get weak here. The reason being, there's no volume down here. This is actually pretty light. This can be a quick rotation if we get weak. Would like a push higher first before just a continuation lower here. It might not give it. Actually, watching VIX banging on the door of 20s. VIX breaks out of 20s. This market goes full on risk off and you get a flush moment. All right, I'm going to get more coffee and be back. You have 12 minutes until that initial balance is set. Yeah, exactly. My flow zone algo tells you exactly what to do. Here's your squeeze up. Once you get stuck here, here's your fail. This was a clear out to trap. And at this point, continuation. Here's the sell. Multi-time frame, sell. It's why I'm looking for sells. I'm not looking to be a buyer in this market. For me, the easiest way to get demolished in this market is to be a buyer. Why do I think that? We went over it pre-market. Everyone that was there pre-market. Here is your leg. Here is your pullback. We expect at least a retest of this. And really, we expect to drive lower if the market is going to have a continuation on a higher time frame. Like on a daily and a weekly and a monthly, we expect that drive lower. But your location gets worse and worse as we get through this day and start drifting. But we are risk off. I would not want to be a buyer in this market. There's no reason, in my opinion, to be a buyer in this market. But we are now starting to trade into some core positions. So I'd say around 21,060, 21,070, it starts to get some more core positions. The bottom of that London range, I would say. But you're just in a straight channel down here. I just get sick of it. It's like not even the person saying it on stream. Like I post educational videos to help people, which are on replays. I get attacked on YouTube for it being on a replay. It's like, it's a fucking education video. Like, do you go and learn how to play football and they just go, here you go, I'll put you in the NFL right now. Learn as you go. See how many arms you break. Like, I don't get it. Like, I trade live every day and help people and show people. And still, there's like a problem. It's not even the one guy on stream at all. Like, Shervo's absolutely fine. It just annoys me when I just think, this is all for free. I give so much for free. So much edge for free. I tell you what I'm looking at and why I'm looking at it. It's not like I take a trade and I go, hey, made some money. I tell you way ahead of time. Trying to teach as I go. It just gets frustrating, man. Monday morning, 7 a.m. There's better things for me to be doing. Anyway, rant over. Do me a favor, at least half of you or 2/3 haven't hit that like button right now. Would appreciate it. It's not even one bad apple. Honestly, it's not. No one's a bad apple. It's not even about that. I just get sick of it. It's no one, not even one person on stream. It gets tiring. I understand why YouTubers get annoyed and frustrated. Nvidia, strong support 113s. Let me have a look, mate. Let's have a look for you. Jesus, that's an ugly daily chart. Let's have a look. Nvidia. Yeah, what I'd say is, there's on a daily, the better support is down at 108. Yeah, on a daily, the better support is down at 108. If it drifts under 108, it's going to start liquidating everyone at 100 and then into that old pivot high into sort of 96 on a daily. Some bids coming into the market here. So you can see this squeeze potential. All the time there's squeeze potential when we start to reclaim, which is what you're getting. This can really, if enough shorts are trapped down here, honestly, this can rip upside so quickly. So quickly. You would need to see failures in this range. Like I said, what you don't want to see is this if you're thinking shorts. We're still just in range. We are in range. Nothing has changed. That's big buying volume coming in there. Huge buying volume. And like whoever it was in chat that just said that, Nvidia bouncing straight off that all the way to 115. So a good move on Nvidia there. Probably trying to drag the market up with it. Tesla now 6.5% down. Jesus. Just a bloodbath out there. Apple 3.5% down. No one interested in Apple. That gap up on earnings was sold on Friday and continues to be sold. No one is interested in buying Apple right now. The failure of the pre-market high there on the VIX, right, hit 20.45, same as the pre-market high, trading back inside its range. I'm currently flat, just waiting for a new setup now, waiting to see what happens. We might want to drift higher here first. Remember, we're in range rotation. Your initial balance right now is this. So we can rotate this range constantly. And this range is inside of London. It's inside of London. Having a look on the book, seeing what's about. That was a big reaction into 100. Still left 100 orders there waiting to be filled. Didn't get filled down there. So can't be squeezing short in this as we start to drift higher. Don't be forcing your way into this market. Yeah, exactly. That was a wicked move. That's it. Nvidia really on a tear now. 115.5. As we go back to the IB high. And this is the easiest thing that shorts do, right? They get stuck in a hole. They force and force and force and force and force. And now they add and add and add and add and add, and then they blow up. And once it's finished, a new rotation will start. All right, you cannot be shorting this. Look at the strength away from the EMAs, away from the flow zones. Check where that anchored VWAP is. I think this is my anchor. No, it's higher time frame. Where's my anchor then? That's sellers' average price from Friday. All right, we are coming into back test now already. 370s. If you think about the hourly chart, this red box here, this is why it's here. All right. These buyers, these buyers, these buyers, do they become sellers or do we fill this whole gap? That's what I'm asking right now. Do these buyers become sellers? Am I going to front run and slam this short? No, I'm not. I'm going to wait for the market to tell me if it's a short. Tariffs delayed for the month, really. This is the thing right now, right? We talk about it on stream all the time. I went over it with my team yesterday. Look at that tap into the red box, right? We've gone wick to wick on those dailies and hourlies, right? Wick to wick there. Let's have a look. Tariff news will move stuff so quick. Good talk with Trump will deploy 10,000 National Guards to border to combat the drug trafficking. US agrees to curb high-powered weapon flow to Mexico. Bilateral terms will begin work on security and business today. Tariffs are paused for 1 month for now. I mean, it's insane, isn't it? This is the market we're in. Like I've said, what does market like? When's market easy to read? The market's easy to read when everything is being priced in and when there's no headline news exposure. At the moment, we have constant headline news exposure. So push right into that red box, right? I think we went wick to wick, almost wick to wick on the hourly. We're just talking about it. And we found some failures back up there. So now on the hourly, you would say that this is a second leg. All right. So if we go to the hourly down here, we would be thinking about leg one. Oh, let me draw it, please. Leg one, leg two, and do we find some selling at some point? If they want to close the gap, they can. But these are the key levels. These buys here, these guys, do they become sellers? Something like this. Do we get a drive up into something like this? Or do we shake off the whole thing just like last week? Guys, I have no idea what we do. Honestly, like, we can only trade what's in front of us. But at last drive up, your ATR was 104 points. Fucking wild. Oh my God, yeah, this one here. 228 to 330. 100-point M1 candle. Easy, right? Easy to trade. Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's actually not that it's not predictable. It's just like, look at Friday. We were trading really nicely into the gap. ES about to make all-time highs. Market was looking good, and then comes out and says, "Hey, we're going to tariff 3 nations." Risk off. Happens so quick. So like I said last week, if people don't have hard stops in, if you're one of these traders listening to these idiots saying you don't need hard stops, this is not a market where you cannot have hard stops in. All right. Imagine you were short here and you're like, yeah, I'm going to look for the continuation lower, and you didn't have a hard stop in. Hello. 200 points. Even with one contract on, it's $4,000 gone. You just can't be like that. I can't understand traders who have that mindset, but hey. Yeah, I mean, it was like this before, Noah, but we were very, very bullish last time Trump was in. It was just like constant all-time highs and grind higher. And you just had to watch his tweets, but we weren't sanctioning anyone, or there's no problem on that. It was just watching his tweets more than anything. Yeah, exactly, Peter. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. But the amount of videos and podcasts I've seen and listened to recently, I mean, even on, big podcasts, I find it crazy. there was a seller flashing at 73, 75 there. He's moved. Not much liquidity on the book here until we get to 450 and 500. Right, 450, there's a 80 lot. 500 up there, there's an 80 lot as well. Well, they're actually both 79 lots. They're probably the same guy. Let's see if we drift in here. So into the top of this initial balance. Remember, technically, we trade through the IB, then we can think about continuation trades higher or failed breakouts, failed auctions of the IB high. Getting very, very close to the 20-day here on the ES. Thank God I covered Gary. Yeah. Well, I missed a little bit. I got out 130, so I missed like 20 points. Could have got an extra 20 points, but I'm pretty happy with that. And that was my second trade. So I did take a trade earlier on another account. So we're doing okay. So no shorts on this yet. This should just continue squeezing until proves otherwise. Definitely not looking for the short on this. We had a nice move today already. Remember, if they are removing tariffs, that's one of the 3 nations, or if they're delaying it, where we've had news over the weekend, right? So market now be thinking, is he going to do the same with Canada? Is he going to do the same with China? Yeah, how does that work? How does that make a difference? Are we going to get a headline in the next hour saying tariffs with Canada now removed? Who knows? And this is the thing with the posturing, right? A lot of these moves or a lot of these things are said for posturing, not necessarily because that's what Trump wants. A lot of it is about having leverage over that nation and cutting another deal that he wants. It's a game of chess right now. Drifting higher here. Has squeeze potential if shorts are caught in it. We've definitely squeezed up already, and we are into the gap. Well into the gap, but we are banging on those levels. Remember, these levels here are daily levels. This is where buyers were before who are currently stuck in the market. Then I should really get this in here. Let's just do this gap fill all the way up here. The final target would probably be up into this. This would be like nothing's happened. We can get up into here, it's like nothing happened yesterday. Failing to hold above that initial balance right now across the markets. They're getting a little bit stuck up here. ES and SPY into their 20 days. They're trying to get a gap fill here. That's what they would like to do. They'd like to get a gap fill here. Jack, no, not for me today, my friend. Not for me today. The only long entry I would have liked, all right, is if this morning, this move up here started to base and hold and build lots of liquidity, then I would be thinking about a squeeze long from here to here. But for me now, risk exposure, I know that higher time frame buyers might become sellers here. So if I buy this, I'm at risk where? Where do we just squeeze from? This is thin. We can come all the way back down there. So I don't like the long. Even if I buy it here and it drifts, I would need to see way more structure build out. And I'm not comfortable with this structure because of what's left, as in looking left. I'm not comfortable buying where I know these buyers are stuck. Yeah, so that makes me uncomfortable. I'm better buying down here if it based out this morning for that move, which it didn't do. Hopefully that makes sense. So momentum's good upside right now, but zoom out outside of this chart, go to a higher time frame. What do we expect? We expect some selling to come in at some point. So I'm thinking about if we get stuck here. That doesn't mean you guys can't buy it. It's just how I like to play. You will hear me talk about it all the time. I like playing the pro trend. For me, that is the easy money in the market, is the pro trend. When timeframes align, that's what I like. Video into 116s here. Some point you've got to think there's going to be some form of failure coming up here where these old buyers who are now sellers might get stuck in this market. The question is, how high can it do a whole gap fill? Like, we just don't know. Like, it's the we don't know what this market's capable of doing right now. We're sort of in discovery, because it's not so much price discovery, it's more like how much of these big overnight moves can the market shake off? How much is an overreaction? How much is an issue? When buying or selling, how do you set up with your broker? I don't understand what you mean there, mate. So this is a squeeze right now. This can come right back down at some point. Also, squeezes can last longer than you can imagine, right? They can keep going and going and going and going and going. So holding IB, it can continue to squeeze, but at some point, you would have to imagine the sellers will come in. The question is, will this be in this red box now, or will it be in the gap fill all the way up here? And we've got an anchored view up here as well. So some sell pressure starting to make itself known, but it's just at the initial balance. Also, the ES is at its 20-day, SPY is at its 20-day. So mean reversion off the lows has already happened on these markets. It's just insane. The plays from the Bollinger Bands to the 20 days happening in single sessions is nuts. So seller up here at 500, 90 lot up there at 500, 50 lot at 475, 77 lot at 450. Oh, sorry, Dejan, I understand. I trade with Ninja, okay, and I use an ATM strategy. Right, so I have, when I click buy or sell, it doesn't matter if I'm using a market buy or a limit buy or a limit sell or a limit limit buy. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I have it set up for my strategy. So I might be risking, say, 30 points and looking for 50 points to the upside. And then I can move those stops and limits based on where I want it. That's how I set it up. Ticks are just there's 4 ticks per point. Right? That's how that works. So 4 ticks per point. So for 10 points, you're looking at 40 ticks. 100 points, 400 ticks. Do they let go of this initial balance? Do you get a rotation back down? They are building liquidity up here. This is dangerous for bulls. They can get a very fast rotation down and in here if they want. This was nothing more than a squeeze. That can happen very, very quickly. This is why I would not be a buyer up here. You are asking for it right now. Fast up, fast down, remember. I'm actually going to take a little stab at this, just taking some profits here, or just a quick trade into the flow zone. It's just a very, very small trade, just adding to my winnings right now. Remember, I'm playing with house money right now. I would love one more squeeze up. That's what I'd love. That was a tiny little trade there. What did I make on that? It's crazy. Tiny little trade for 20 points in seconds. I would love one more squeeze up. One more reason for bulls to come in and then just a straight see you later move. But honestly, there's a big part of me that just wants us to drift higher all day and set up this move for Tuesday, Wednesday. And those who have done the course will know exactly why I'm thinking about that. SPYES right at its 20-day. The gap fill really doesn't feel very far away now. It's amazing to think that flush overnight was to 936. We're already, you know, almost 400 points higher or whatever it is. Yeah, pretty much. The gap fill doesn't feel far. But I think short thesis here is a better thesis in general in this market right now until it proves otherwise. Again, it's the headline news. If he, what have I done there? This can go. If he comes out, or Canada comes out and say they've done a deal, we're going to be here. This is just going to go straight here. Oh, we've done a deal. We're not going to be. It's going to go here instantly. So that's your exposure right now. That's why you've got to have stops in. That is, the market hates indecision. We like strong decisions. It doesn't matter if there's tariffs or there's not going to be tariffs. It doesn't matter if the Fed are going to cut or they're not going to cut. We just need to know what's happening and then we price it in. What is a problem is when Friday there's going to be tariffs, Saturday there's going to be tariffs, Sunday is going to be tariffs, Monday, oh, we're delaying the tariffs. That's a problem for the market. Is the squeeze. So a new squeeze high. It looks like it wants the gap fill. Like I said, it feels like it wants the gap fill. It's very, very close. Let's have a look here. So into, what is this? Is my algo? Yeah, into an algo here. Squeeze potential. Here's previous day low, previous day close. This is gap fill area up here, okay, for settlement. If it can get there. It's another 120 odd points. That can happen in 1 minute if it really wants to. Seller at 21,900. He's the biggest guy on the book. It's hilarious that he's up there. If we get up there today, fucking hell, can you imagine? Who knows? It looks like we're going for that gap fill. So anchored view up here at 460s. Really, it should just go and close this gap now. Coming into the edge of the hourly 460 as well. That's a bit. It's a big level 460 from Thursday the 30th. That is a massive level into 460s. Through that, then I would expect the gap fill. Yeah, Miguel. Yeah, exactly. We just read that out. Hence the squeeze. Banging on 450. Sellers up into 500. So where we are right now, just got taken 475, 65 lot, 500, 100 lot. Pretty thin above that. Pretty thin above that. But really, if it gets to 5, it should just go for the gap fill. Again, on the hourly, coming into a very, very big level here. The reason I'm saying that is it's this exchange right here. These bars right here, and it's an old value area low. If it trades through this, then yeah, gap fill should happen. And maybe 606. If it really wants to squeeze. I really don't think we revisit these areas, but who bloody knows? If enough shorts are caught, who knows? All right, nice flag above the initial balance so far. They're already starting to place a deal with Canada right now. Yeah, well, there you go. This is the danger, right? This is the danger, like we talked about. Things can change so quick. So quick. Trump, I look forward to participating in those negotiations with Mexico. We're going to attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. Those negotiations will occur during the month pause. I haven't seen anything about Canada yet. It doesn't mean it's not there. It's just it hasn't hit my news blotter yet. Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet on Canada. Or it's a pause, so there's no tariffing in that pause, and they're trying to do a deal in that period. Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Ty. Yeah. So very bullish here, lower time frame, not bullish higher time frame. And we are trying to go for that gap fill right now, but we're banging on a very big area on the hourly chart. Huge area on the hourly chart. Has SPY filled the gap? Or it almost filled it to the after hours low, not for settlement, but got very close there on the cash. What about the Qs? Let me just check. Qs have got a bit longer to go as well. I still think this should drift higher first. Might as well. If you come all this way, it might as well drift higher first before it does anything else. Big pun, I wouldn't trust any deal even when it's signed, mate, either. I wouldn't I don't trust anything ever in these markets right now. But it's not about trusting the deal, it's about trading how any news affects the market and anticipating what that might cause hedges to do. So SPYES trying to base above 20-day. They can do a full reversion back to 5-day that will close the full gap. QQQ banging on the 20-day right now. Still basing above the initial balance high. Market is still bullish from a technical point of view on this lower time frame. We are bullish for continuation above IB for a move to here is potential. I'm not taking this long, but this is the potential. I would actually rather see some failure and rotation. It's just what I'm more comfortable with today. I think longs, high time frame longs are stuck in the market. Lower time frame shorts are stuck in the market. I want it where lower time frame longs and higher time frame longs are stuck and look for a rotation down. That's what I would way rather be into. 10 minutes until we get a new hourly candle as well. This hourly is well extended from current range. Let's have a look at volume building up as well in this market. Yeah, we are way away from volume right now, all the way down into 240s. So was this a blowout here of the shorts on this squeeze? Do they reabsorb these levels now into flow zones, or are we going to see this start to really let go? Can you imagine, Ty? Can you imagine? What's his coin doing now? I haven't looked for ages. Fucking people chased that, got annihilated, didn't they? Oh my god. It's still bullish up here. There's no shift here for any shorts. We still haven't filled the gap. Meta just incredible. Almost 1% up now. Insane. Insane work from Meta. Amazon only 0.5% down. Microsoft only 0.5% down. Those are the strong ones out of the mag. Tesla 4.5% down. Nvidia 2.4% down. That's a good rally back from almost 6% or 7%. Apple 3%. All right, Apple's still bleeding. So do they flag and go? Can they close that gap here? Biggest buyer on the tape. Again, trying to reload now at 225. Same level. He's trying to reload at 225. Same guy as before, 100 points higher. Same size as before, 200 lot, 100 points higher. Do you know what? I'm going to get rid of this anchor, and I'm going to just anchor this low where we had momentum come into the market. And this is average price of buyer right now, who got squeezed or joined the squeeze. So that level there will be key. Sort of waiting for a new hourly candle here because I'm wondering if they leave these as hourly highs, if the next hour can come up and then do a move below. It'd be really nice exchange into a new hourly bar if we did that. We've already swept all those hourly lows into 160, that moved down into 120s, did that. Now, do we pump higher? Can we do some form of exchange? Maybe we close this hour up here, right? And then we do a sweep, a close gap, and a trade inside back down to IB maybe. But technically, we're bullish now. From initial balance rules, from lower time frame, off that squeeze, we're bullish. So don't want to be shorting front side here. Easy way to get trapped would be to short front side here. Want to respect the channel it's currently putting in. Something like that. Do I think that anyone's short here? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think people will still be getting short here. Hard to imagine, isn't it? But I think they'll be getting short all the way up into here. Just keep adding on the way up. And then they have to hope that that works for them. That's what I would imagine. And there'll be fresh shorts coming into the market, those not adding as well, who are just short into those hourly levels, yeah, into these levels we talked about. They'll be short into the back test of these guys, this guy and this guy, and this value area low here that we came right into, very, very close. This exchange here into 60 is key. If it fails 60, we can rotate. Otherwise, we gap fill. Remember, new hourly bar in like 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes. I kind of want to see, just wait until we get to that hourly bar. I've got to remind myself as well, I've made good money today. Do I need to trade? Do I need to trade? Better trades are going to come later in the week, for sure. Tuesday onwards. Wednesday, Thursday are my favorite days to trade because I will know the range then. If we filled the gap and we're setting up sideways for buyers to be trapped, I can think about the short. If we've filled the gap and we've pulled back and we're absorbing, I can think about a long extension. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or definitely Wednesday, Thursday. And also we'll offer reversals if we've moved too far. Monday, really in price discovery here for me, as in price discovery for the week. I know we're not printing all-time highs or anything, but for the week. Mate, that's fantastic work, Crawford. Yeah, very possible big pun, but obviously that can change based on a headline. Can change based on a headline. Any positive headline, hey, we're talking to Canada. We're going to pause now for a month. Negotiations went really well. We think we can come to some kind of agreement. That's enough for this market to probably squeeze higher. Yeah, I'd prefer to lean with you, big pun. That's kind of what I was looking for, but I have to not get too biased, right? We're above the initial balance high. We're in a squeeze rotation higher. There's a gap there to be filled. Lower time frame buyers are currently in control. Lower time frame shorts are currently in pain. So we just let this drift upside till proves otherwise. They're going to try and flag and go for the gap fill. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for that continuation and momentum into this gap fill. That's what they want. Location here is not ideal for buyers right now, but this is what they're looking for. They're looking for that momentum, shorts to get liquidated from here and that move up. This location is not ideal. Remember, 460s. 460s and then the 500s. Big H1 levels. $90 till that new hourly bar. That's what I'm waiting for right now. You're wondering why I've gone quiet. Just waiting to see this new hourly bar. Would love this to have a shove up before the hour. What is going to be key is if we close the gap is 644 to 535. Basically, that 100-point range we put in the close on Friday for as a sentiment that will need to stay heavy. They will need to see rejection on that. We'd start trading through that. Even higher time frame shorts are going to get seriously stuck there. And these short on Friday would start becoming underwater at that point. Remember, this is an anchor view up off that Friday high up here. Here's your exchange into the new hour. This will be important now. Do they rip above this old hourly high and fail? Or do they rip above and hold and continue? And just delete this now. Still printing a potential flag, but it's starting to roll. Bulls will need to see the hourly expansion here. They need to come and take these guys out for this move. And that actually helps everyone more. Trading like this sideways into lunch for an hour is not ideal, all right? Because then you open this up and then back up. Higher it goes, actually the better for better shorts later. But I'm not short bias right now. Not in this move. Big pun. I would say my answer to that would be it needs to build liquidity. Big boys can't just mark it in, right? So they will need people trapped the other side of their position so they can start feathering into the market without being seen if they're going to do that. Yeah, Meta looking good. 1.4% up now, approaching that 700 mark on Meta. Just incredible. Incredible strength. Little look at these names. Apple trying to find a bid off that low of day, so it's return back in. Microsoft looks strong. Amazon looking strong. Google pretty strong. Meta looking fantastic. Nvidia lovely pump off the lows, coming into a pre-market high here. Gets through this, it can go for that gap fill potential in towards 19s and 20s. Tesla, nice reversal off the low as well, coming in towards pre-market lows here though. Very key level coming up for Tesla. Are they going to snap this down now? Here's the liquidation event. I'm very close to hammering this. Very close. So tempting for me to hammer that. I got to stay out of that. Leave it alone. But it's very tempting when I see stuff like that with the volume to see a clear out and a failure. But I have to leave that alone. Nothing confirmed yet. So just staying out. But that is a potential first signature of it. If it keeps holding IB, they can go higher. Yeah, just staying out of this for now. Some of these names starting to struggle up here now after that last push. Look at Meta. Came right up to 700 and 1.5 points off it very quickly. Same with all these names when they're getting near that pre-market level. Unless it sets up something really juicy, good chance I'll be done. Is he going to start getting stuck here? It's still above the initial balance, but it just feels like some problem coming into the market here. Maybe it got a bit frothy on that last push, but it can still trap to move higher here. I'm very, very aware about that. Trade VIX. VIX hasn't hit previous day high yet. Well into its gap, though. Trading at 18s underneath that IB low. So I've got one eye on the VIX. Yes, starting to roll back here, back towards its IB high, same as the NQ. So IB rules will apply. If this is a failed auction, we will trade back down towards the VWAP. Remember, the anchored VWAP off the low is right here at the IB high. So I don't feel fully comfortable all the time we're here. But it just felt like they were going to melt this here, didn't it? And here you go. Here's the rotation. Do these buyers absorb around this anchored VWAP and the initial balance, or do they get heavy versus this now? This is the question. 312 is the biggest buyer on deck right now. He's down at 312. 200 locked down there. So it's the same guy as earlier. Are they going to use this initial balance and anchored VWAP as the trap to move lower? Sorry, as the trap to move higher. What am I talking about? Got to get my words out. So far, holding that sort of level. Do they fail up here? This is key. This level here. Do they fail this for this? Or is this whole thing just a deep pullback into the area buyers were to go higher? Which is what it's definitely feeling like right now, isn't it? Big old shove there. How many points was that? 70 odd points on that shove. It's crazy. It's a crazy market. Yeah, I think I'm probably done here, team. Like, not a whole lot happening here as we start to sort of trade sideways in this range. And I've made really nice money today. I'm questioning, like, do I want to try and participate in a failed auction and rotation down? Am I thinking that we can go higher? My thesis already played out earlier in the morning. Like, the longer I sit here, the more I'm likely to press some buttons. How do I feel about this, etc., etc., etc. I know normally I'd stay like another hour, but I'm just less interested in this market. I think there's much, much better trades coming later in the week, and I think we made good money this morning. So I'd rather sort of save my mental capital here a bit, I think. Go and get a workout in, go for a walk, eat some food, and come back tomorrow having locked in a decent Monday. So hopefully some of you also locked in a decent Monday with me. You've got plenty of time left to make more money for the rest of the day if you're going to sit here and trade. But for me, I'm happy with that. I can walk away now feeling good. Be back tomorrow morning. All right, we'll be back pre-market as always, going over daily analysis, higher time frame down to lower time frame, all the usual stuff. And I will see you then. All right, be safe. Please use hard stops. Don't be stupid in this market. Definitely don't be adding to a loser in this market. It will wreck you. All right, peace and love. I'll speak to everyone in Discord later in the afternoon. Catch you later.